We wanted to find out how to save you guys a couple of quid the next time your MOT comes up. Now, that may sound pretty difficult to do, seeing as if your car fails on something, you're going to have to shell out for it anyway. But you can save yourself the price of an MOT if you don't have to come back for a retest. Jazz and I have compiled a pre-MOT checklist to help you guys get it right first time. And we're going straight to the source to see an MOT firsthand. Hello, Jazz.
Hello, my friend.
Jazz and I are on our way down to the MOT centre at The Garage. We're going to be speaking to Dan, the MOT man. The Garage.
The garage.
Let's go. We are down at the MOT centre with Dan, with our lovely customer Murray's T25. It's not actually a very normal T25. It's got a savage flat six Subaru engine in it. So that's a bit of fun.
Let's get cracking.
Right, so before we get stuck in, this right here is a list of the top reasons why an MOT will fail. We are going to give you some tips on what to look for and how to prevent a failed MOT before it happens. So, what's going on here, mate?
So we're going to check our emissions. We just comply to whatever the computer says to us. To raise the RPM up to 2,500.
So, Dan leads us into the test bay, and the first thing we have a look at is the emissions. In goes the little probe, and this computer screen goes all colourful and spits out all kinds of information.
Technical.
So, how do we check on the emissions before an MOT? Seeing as none of us have the fancy machine to pop in our rear ends, the best thing we can do is start up the engine and see if any smoke comes pouring out. Now, this is pretty normal starting up your diesel vehicle, but as long as it's not continuing to expel noxious gases out into the world, then you're probably in the clear.
Smoke emitted from the tailpipe. No. I see a lot of green lights. Is that good?
Green means go.
Green means go. We like that. Jazz, we got to pass on the emissions. Yes.
He's gassing.
He's gassing. He's gassing.
Next up are the lights. Now, this one's a little easier for you to check at home. Grab a friend and whack all those lights on, testing them out one by one.
Nice LED ones there.
All lamps must be working correctly, including headlights, tail lights, indicators, including your hazards, side lights, brake lights, rear fog lights, and don't forget the registration plate lights. A fifth of all MOT failures are down to a problem with the lights, but fortunately, it's probably a bulb or foggy lenses. Nice easy fixes.
And then just remove the key with the hazards on for me. Show me the key. Beautiful. Right, next we'll get onto the brakes.
So what are we looking at?
So we're checking for fluctuation on the brakes, and then we go for complete brake lock. 3,000, 3,500.
So your car will be tested on these rollers that measure whether or not the brakes can slow them down effectively. You get a reading up on these dials here. Now, what can you do to check them? If your car pulls to one side when you brake, it could mean that there is a problem that needs attention before your MOT. You can take the wheel off and have a little look at the brakes too. Look for damaged discs or worn brake pads, as these may need replacement. If you have alloy wheels, you can just have a little peek through. Nice.
You park your van on hill, make sure your handbrake holds, I suppose. Like a steep hill. Obviously don't get out in case it don't hold and rolls away. Chasing your van down the road.
Right, let's have a look at the tyres.
What's this there then?
Tyre tread depth. Make sure the tyres aren't under 1.6 mil.
Right.
And they're looking beautiful.
You don't need a fancy tool to check this at home. All you need is a 20p. This is the fabled 20p test. Super easy, grab your 20p. Ding ding.
You see on the 20p, there's a little line that goes all the way around, isn't there?
So that sort of frame
Yeah.
to the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all you need to do is put that into your tread of your tyre, and your tread of your tyre should be at a minimum that.
So above that, because that's about 2 mil.
Yeah.
And the legal level is 1.6 mil.
Yeah. If you aim for 20p, you know you're not going to worry on your MOT, are you? If it's less than that, it's 3 points per tyre. From the boys in blue.
Per tyre.
Per tyre.
That could be your whole licence gone in one go.
hit. So
Check them.
check them.
Check them.
Check them.
And while you're at it, make sure you check for any wear or damage on your tyres as well. Right, to the MOT centre.
Keep a nice tidy ship, don't they, Jazz?
Oh, they do.
Look at that, clean.
Definitely.
Definitely a difference between your workshop.
Don't you say nothing.
Going up, Nathan. So, Dan, what are we looking for now? What are we having a look at?
So we're just checking all the suspension, steering components, tyres, brakes, anything else that's just going to make it physically unsafe on the road.
Suspension, right. Being the second most common cause of an MOT failure, suspension is pretty important. There are a few things you can do to give yourself a better idea of what sort of condition your suspension is in. You can listen for any unusual clunks and sounds, especially when cornering or on bumpy roads. You can have a look at if your car sits level and see if it bounces back to a level position after pushing down on the corners. Then, write a letter to the council telling them to fix the potholes.
Do you like the lift kit?
So House of Customs.
House Customs, he knows.
Bam! That is our list complete. But there are a few more things you can have a look at before you go for your MOT. Make sure your windscreen is free of damage. If there's a crack bigger than 10 centimeters in the arch that the wipers make, that is actually a fail. So make sure you get that repaired or swapped out. Ensure you are all topped up with fluids. Check your oil, brake fluid and screen wash and make sure they're all going where they should be. Lastly, make sure that your vehicle is clean and tidy, because it turns out the MOTer can tell you to piss off if they don't think it's up to scratch. Right, let's see how Murray's van got on.
Just a moment of truth, Dan. You feeling confident? Well, he already knows.
Yeah, I already know.
I'm feeling confident. Is that a pass?
That's a pass.
Is that a pass with a sign?
A sign. Push. Job done.
Yes, mate. Thank you very much. Jazz! Jazz, we got a pass.
Yeah,
We got a pass, baby.
Yeah, boy.
Yes. She's done.
Sweet as.
Nice one.
Catch that. Push. Job done.
Do that, boys.
Right, there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That was the MOT, what you need to look for. And we're going to do a little shout out to the garage. Thank you so much for letting us come down here. So Dan, obviously the manager, thanks very much for your time and showing us what to do. Craig, who's working over there. We got Joey, who's gone around to get some sandwiches. Nathan, obviously up in the van. Clive, of course, and Nick and Louisa. Thank you ever so much for letting us down here. And we will see you around.
So we just say that Adam's just broken his MOT virginity.
Pop my cherry. I'll come back, help you guys out. That's all right. If you need an MOT, do not bring it to me.